Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Dr. Talks Facebook Live, presented to you by Bumrungrad International Hospital. I'm your host today, Dr. Mike, otherwise known as Dr. Nyomingo from Medical Coordination Office of Bumrungrad International Hospital. So as you are aware of, Thailand has just opened up its border starting from November the 1st and started welcoming tourists and the visitors from across the world. So there are some new requirements to enter Thailand. So today we're going to be talking about Welcome Back to Thailand and Thailand Pass. This is a new special requirement for those who want to come to Thailand starting from November the 1st. For this topic, I have just invited Dr. Thassanawut, who is the expert from the medical transport team. In our hospital, we have medical transport department. He is the division director of the medical transport department as well as the international business development unit. So thank you, Dr. Thassanawut, for joining us here in our studio today. So the topic that we will be talking about is very interesting because when Thailand opens up, everyone is interested to come to Thailand because Thailand is a very good destination for people all around the world. We have good food, people are friendly, and we have beautiful beaches, and we have very high quality, world-class hospital here in Thailand. So our healthcare center is also very good. So a lot of people are interested to come to Thailand. So today we're going to be talking about a new requirement, a new entry requirement to Thailand, which is Thailand Pass. So first of all, can you tell me what Thailand Pass is?
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Mike, and thank you everyone for joining us online. Thailand Pass is one of the crucial documents that everyone has to apply for in order to enter Thailand. If you are familiar with the COE or Certificate of Entry, which is the document you need to apply for when you arrive in and present when you arrive in Thailand in the past before the 1st of November, this is basically the substitute or the one that is replacing the COE. So everyone entering Thailand, including Thai nationals, have to apply for the Thailand Pass in order to enter Thailand. So let's say in the past, you might need passport, and you always need passport to travel internationally. You need passport, and some of you who had to apply for the visa to enter Thailand, and those are the required documents. But now, during this pandemic, that is still going on, even though the situation is getting somewhat better all around the world, especially and also Thailand. Then Thailand Pass is something that we are making sure that everyone is safe and secure.
So we no longer need COE, right, to enter Thailand.
Correct.
So instead of COE, we now need Thailand Pass.
Yes. Let's say the COE is still there for the traveling through the land borders. We talk about that later.
Okay.
Thailand Pass is for air travel only.
Okay. So if you want to come to Thailand, what is the first step? Will you have to apply for Thailand Pass, or is there anything that we need to do?
Yes. As we are the travel and also the healthcare hub or healthcare destination, in order to apply or in order to come to Thailand as a patient and also the companion of the patient, then you need to firstly contact the hospital. And we will review the necessity, or we review the medical records, medical certificate that you got from your healthcare provider who are taking care of you in the current country. And then we will send you the document, what we call the invitation letter. So in the invitation letter, we'll state your name, your date of birth, your medical condition, the necessity that you need to come to Thailand. Also mention the name of the doctor who is an attending doctor, or the doctor who is accepting you as his or her patient to come to our hospital. And you can use this piece of document to apply also for the Thailand Pass. I'll go through that a little bit later on. So this is more or less the first step for the patient and also the companion who are coming along into Thailand through the channel as a patient. On the other hand, if you're coming as a tourist, the first thing is to go to the Thailand Pass website, which is tp.consular.go.th.
Okay. So if you want to come to Thailand as a I mean, the medical tourists, then you have to contact the hospital directly, right? I mean, either through the representative office in your country or directly to the hospital to get the invitation letter first, right?
Correct.
And after that, you can apply for Thailand Pass. But if you come as a tourist, it's easier.
It's easier.
Yeah, you can go and apply Thailand Pass on the website. Okay.
Yes. Actually, initially, Thailand Pass was initially aimed for tourists. Yeah. But with the evolution of how we accept foreign nationals as well as Thai nationals back into Thailand, then these are the regulations and the procedure that must be taken.
I see. Okay. So as far as I know, under Thailand Pass, there are 3 categories, right? There are 3 schemes, set up to welcome visitors from all around the world. So can you elaborate more about these 3 schemes?
Sure. Before we go forward, let me show you the look and feel of the Thailand Pass website. As I mentioned earlier, it's tp.consular.go.th. When you go into the website, you'll see this. So choose this if you're Thai nationals, and choose this one if you are non-Thai. So if imagine if you're non-Thai, you press over here. This is the first half of the website. The lower half would be like this. So if you have any inquiries and you need to contact them, there's a button to contact over here. Also, the frequently asked FAQ, frequently asked questions can be found in here for both the Ministry of Public Health and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Once you click, then you'll see I tried non-Thai and only English can be chosen at the moment. I think they plan for other languages as well, I'm not sure, but for the time being, there's only English, which is a common language anyway. So with the Thailand Pass, we can safely say it categorizes people into 3 groups. The first one, namely test and go. So it's basically having the RT-PCR once and you can go. So hence the name Test and Go. The official name for this scheme is actually exemption from quarantine. And then within that word, after the word exemption from quarantine, they usually put the sentence in the bracket saying after the negative RT-PCR test.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, so what are the countries eligible for Test and Go? This is the first scheme, right? Out of 3,
yes, out of the 3, yes. So for the Test and Go thing, you must be coming or traveling from certain countries,
How
in
many
the world.
countries?
Now there are 63 of them.
I see.
Yeah, in the world, including many countries that find Thailand as their destination. So you can see that later on. I can point out and show you where exactly you can look at the list of the country.
I see.
Say people from Myanmar, from Cambodia, from Indonesia, from Vietnam can enter and get this test and go.
So these countries are considered low risk, right?
Correct. Thank you for that. So these 63 countries in the list are deemed low risk by the Ministry of Public Health of Thailand. And within that category, then people can come and have one test and then can go anywhere throughout Thailand.
Okay. So there will be quarantine only for 1 night, right?
Yes. Let's say we can go deeper into that, but actually for the Test and Go thing, you have to reserve the hotel for 1 night in order to wait for the test result to be available.
I see.
But we found out that according to the official description, after the test result is negative, then you can just go. So imagine if you arrive in Thailand early in the morning and then you get the test sometime early in the morning, and then the test result is available that evening per se. Then you can just go. You can just go to Chiang Mai, not even spending the first night in the hotel. Of course, the hotel will refund you with that night anyway.
Okay. Yeah. We're gonna go back to Test and Go with the conditions and all the detail, but I'm like very eager to know what is the second scheme, let's go on to second scheme.
Okay, so the second scheme is called Sandbox. So it's like a box of sand per se. So with this Sandbox program, virtually anyone who is vaccinated can come into Thailand and then spend 7 nights consecutively in a certain quarantine facility. But during the day, after the first RT-PCR test for COVID-19 is negative, then they can just roam freely in the designated area, namely the sandbox area that they arrive in Thailand.
How many sandbox areas are there in Thailand?
Currently, there are 17 provinces. Yes. But the thing is that
17, right?
17, 17, not 70. Yeah.
How many provinces are there in Thailand?
77.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's like
1.2, 1.5 something. Yeah.
Not
so not a lot. Not a lot yet. But actually, to dig a little bit deeper, with the sandbox area, some of them might not be reached by international flight, right? So once you arrive in Thailand, you can only spend your time within the first week in the sandbox area where you can reach by international flight.
I see.
Yes. I asked this question with the staffs from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs one time, and he answered that the sandbox area is not solely purposefully designed for the international tourists. It also designed to manage the risk within the country as well. That's why these 17 provinces.
Okay, yeah, got it. So what is the third one?
And the third one, this is a little bit confusing with the name, merely because they chose the name Alternative Quarantine as the name of the group. So the third group is called Alternative Quarantine. But if you can remember, some of you might have heard this name as the hotel for the quarantine back in the days. So it doesn't only represent the hotel quarantine or what they used to be called alternative state quarantine, and then they turn to be alternative quarantine anymore. Within this group, it includes both the quarantine facility as in hotel and also the hospital. So Bumrungrad International Hospital also act as a alternative hospital quarantine facility. So we are also included in this group of
under this category.
Under this category, correct.
Okay. So if I have to recap, there are actually 3 schemes under Thailand Pass. The first one is Test and Go, and second one is Sandbox, and the third one is alternative quarantine. So we'll go deeper, okay? So can you tell us about the conditions of Test and Go?
Yes. Let's before we go into each category or each group, let's take a look here on the Thailand Pass website. When you go into the Thailand Pass website, you'll be prompted to choose from these 3: exemption from quarantine or Test and Go, as we all know, Sandbox or alternative quarantine. Let me draw an easy picture for you to see what are the differences. So if we draw the line over here from these 2 groups on the left and the one on the right, then the line will be drawn and determined by the vaccination status. So within the 2 groups on the left, for Test and Go and Sandbox, everyone must be fully vaccinated. When I say fully vaccinated, meaning if the vaccine is 1 dose as Johnson, then it's fine. But if all the rest are 2 doses, so you must be fully vaccinated with 2nd dose of the vaccine, except Johnson, for at least 14 days before you arrive in Thailand.
Let me ask you, so what are the vaccines accepted by the Thai government in order to enter Thailand?
For the time being, every vaccine available is accepted. So you can choose. I'll show you again later on where you choose the name of the vaccine.
I see.
So the one that is not widely available, Sputnik V or Covishield, as used in India, are also accepted. All sorts of brands for the same vaccine, as you might know, like AstraZeneca. They have different names, a few of them, and all of them, like Covishield, like bacteria, something like this. So all of them are accepted.
So you must have a proof of vaccination, like a certificate, right?
Correct, correct.
Okay.
And you must have that on hand because you have to submit that into the website for clarification, for verification as well.
So do they need to bring the hard copy of the certificate or just a soft copy on phone?
Yeah, it's strongly recommended to bring the hard copy. Yes, yes. But before that, you have to submit it online.
And it has to be in English.
Correct, correct. If it's in your local language, then you must have it
validated by the authority.
Correct,
right?
correct, and make it understandable in English.
Okay.
Yeah. So for the right side of the line, which is alternative quarantine, it's actually aimed for the person who is not fully vaccinated, as we discussed. So when you enter Thailand while unvaccinated, you have to undergo the quarantine in the traditional sense, meaning you have to stay in the room, you cannot come out of the room. If it's in the hotel, then you might be able to go to the relaxed area after certain days for 1 hour per day or something like that. So everything remains. Yeah. For unvaccinated person, then you have to be quarantined for 10 days. Yeah. But for test and go, as Dr. Mike just mentioned, you will have to reserve the hotel for 1 night. Yeah, for 1 night, it's for the waiting time for the result to be available. But of course, if it's available sooner than that, then you can just go. Yeah.
So some of the patients, so let's talk about the patients. Some of the patients might prefer staying in the hospital instead of staying in a hotel, even for that 1 night. So like, can they also choose the hospital as their quarantine, alternative quarantine?
Yes, yes. It's a little bit confusing, as I mentioned earlier, with the names. But of course, if patient and their companions wanted to undergo the 1 night quarantine in the hospital, of course, they can choose the test and go and then undergo the 1 night in quarantine in the hospital. Yes. Okay. And if we draw another line over here, cutting between these two groups, so that's the current country or the origin country where they are from, to be the determining factor, which group can they apply for. If you are fully vaccinated and then coming from the 63 countries that we were talking about, then you can choose the test and go program. Unless then you have to choose the Sandbox program.
So this is the countries list.
Yes. So over here in the website, and you can see the link, and when you click on it, the name list of the country, 63 of them will pop up, and then you can check whether you are eligible for the test and go program. Yeah. From which country? Now there are 63 countries. Yeah. Also, if you click on the Sandbox one, then it'll mention the name of the provinces that is included in the Sandbox program. 17 provinces to be precise.
And I have a little concern about the entry visa. Before that, I mean, like during this pandemic time, like last year, let's say before November 1st, if you want to come to Thailand, even though your nationality used to be exempt from the visa requirement, people coming here, but before November 1st, during COVID time, you need to apply an entry visa, right? And then you can come. Now, how about, let's say, if your nationality has the privilege of coming to Thailand without a visa for at least 14 days, can you come without a visa?
Yeah, from the 1st of November, this issue had gone back to normal as before COVID. So let's say if you are a nationality which is visa exempted, then you can come into Thailand visa free.
Without a visa. But Thailand Pass is still required.
Correct. Right? Let's say there are 2 different issues that you need to look at. Yeah, everyone needs Thailand Pass, but only the one from the countries or from the nationality that need the visa to enter Thailand that needs to apply for the visa. But if you are coming as a patient, then you might consider applying for the medical visa in order to guarantee or make sure that by the time that you arrive in Thailand, then you won't have any problem. Let's say people from Myanmar, for instance, you are visa exempted for 14 days, if I'm not mistaken. And within that 14 days, if you wish to continue your stay beyond that 14-day visa-free period, then you'll have to apply for the visa. And if you are doing that while you are in Thailand, you'll have to do that about a week before your visa runs out. Your visa-free period runs out. So some of the people might not know this, and then all of a sudden, got panicked because they haven't started the process for the visa application yet. Yeah. So let's think about it. If you are coming in as tourist, of course, you know how long you can stay visa-free, right? But if you are planning to come and stay longer than the period that you are exempted, then it's worth thinking about applying for the visa before you arrive in Thailand.
Yeah, that's a good point, because if you are coming here as the patient, and you don't know how long you're gonna be in Thailand, it's better to apply a visa before coming here to Thailand. But like, let's say if you're in a rush, you don't have time to apply for a visa and you have like free visa privilege, then you can come to Thailand without a visa. But please be careful, right? Because you have to check the expiry date, and our hospital can help you extend or renew your visa in case you really need to continue stay in Thailand. So please do not worry too much, but better apply for a visa before coming here if you are coming here as a patient. Yeah. Oh, I think some of our audience, they have some questions. Let me look at the questions. Ron Duckle. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. I'm not good at pronouncing foreign names. Ron Duckle asks us, like, is it normal to visit your hospital? How do we say?
Let me say you can visit, but with what we are discussing today, there are certain regulations that you need to follow in order to not just visit the hospital, but actually coming into Thailand. But once you arrive in Thailand, if you are eligible for the Test and Go program, and then you have been tested negative for the RT-PCR test, then you can come to the hospital as if you are in Thailand, right? On the other hand, if you are in Thailand under the the Sandbox Program, even though you'll have to check into your quarantine facility, namely the hotel or the hospital, every night, but during the day, when you chose to arrive in Bangkok, then you can roam freely and you have freedom to go anywhere in Bangkok, including the hospital. Right, so you can just come to the hospital during the day and then receive outpatient care per se.
Okay. There's another question from Ayan Rahaman. Let me rephrase your question. I guess you are trying to say, like, can I do surgery in the Sandbox program? Okay. So normally, like, if you are
under quarantine,
let's say, what if you stay in a hotel for Sandbox program, and if he does surgery, then he needs to be admitted in the hospital. Like, if it is like a short surgery, like day surgery, he can go home after surgery, then it's not a problem. But if he needs to stay in the hospital for 1 night, 2 nights, then how do we do that?
It depends, actually. The rule of thumb is that the surgery will be happening or will be undertaking according to the urgency. So let's say if it's urgent, it's life-threatening surgery, then we'll proceed with the surgery right away. If you are actually planning for the surgery, and then we discuss before you arrive in Thailand that which period of time after you arrive in Thailand that you will have surgery. If we go back to what we were discussing, also you can opt for the Sandbox program in the hospital. So it depends on a case-by-case basis, let's say. But anything is possible.
So another question is kind of similar from Faisal. The question is, like, during Sandbox, if you need to be admitted in the hospital, is that possible? Like, it's kind of urgency. Like, you are staying in Sandbox and you have some health problem, and you need to be transferred to the hospital due to your. Is that possible?
Actually, let me say this. If we go back a little bit further before the 1st of November, where the quarantine program was still very strict, if you were in the hotel under quarantine and you faced any medical emergency or medical conditions, then you need to be admitted to the hospital. You could still be admitted back then.
Yeah.
So let's think about it. For now, it's almost the same thing.
Yeah.
So even though you are registered as Sandbox in the hotel, and then you had a medical emergency that needs admission, then you'll be able to get admitted into the hospital right away.
see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So don't worry about that.
Oh, how's the situation now? You mean in Thailand, right? The situation is getting better, getting better. That's why Thailand government has already opened up its border to welcome tourists and, you know, medical tourists.
Yes.
Those of you who want to come to Thailand. So for some of the question, I think we have already covered during our talk earlier. So let's move on to our talk.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me show you over here a little bit when you choose. I give you a warning, you have to choose wisely and carefully, because after you have chosen one of the three, then all of them are almost the same throughout. So you won't even know which program or which scheme you were actually choosing. So please choose carefully, cautiously, let's say, from the beginning. When you are prompted to confirm that you understood the information over here, please do so. It basically says that in the Test and Go program, you'll undergo one test for RT-PCR, and then the second one will when you arrive either at the hotel or at the hospital, then you'll be provided with the ATK antigen test kit for you to do it on your own on the day 6 of your stay. Yeah. On the other hand, if you are eligible for Sandbox program, then we'll do 2 swab tests. If it's in the hotel setting, the first one will be RT-PCR. The second one can also be ATK. But what we are doing now in the hospital is that we do 2 RT-PCR swabs. Yeah. And when we go deeper, this is what you'll be shown, the purpose of arrival. So please choose this carefully. You can choose that you are coming as a tourist to travel, or you also can choose that you are coming to Thailand as for healthcare purpose. Yeah, you choose over here. So, and then you list down that where you are from, which airport that you are arriving, flight number. Over here, if you are using the services or the facilitation from our referral offices, please ask them to help you out with this. But if you are applying or filling these out on your own, then with the flight number thing, if it's the chartered flight, it's normally the name of the aircraft that can be put over here. Yeah.
I see. Okay.
If it's like a Thai aircraft, it would be Hotel Sierra HS and then the 3 letters something. Yeah. The date of arrival and estimate date that you wanted to stay in Thailand, you just put it here. And then you confirm that you consent to collecting of information. And then this basically the demographic data, you just put in your information, your email and such. And
it's user-friendly, right?
Yes, quite user-friendly, I would say. Yeah. Kudos to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Looks simple.
Yes. I took the snapshots of these 2 programs just to make a comparison. You can see they almost like identical. Yeah, but the only thing that's distinguished these 2 programs would be over here. You can see that the information for dependent of children in the Test and Go program, you can bring the children or the child under 12 years old as your dependent to come into the Test and Go program. On the other hand, for the Sandbox program, that age goes up to 18. So be careful. You might ask, what if you are eligible for Test and Go program, like you are fully vaccinated and you are coming from the country in the list, but you have a 15-year-old child, then you, so you are kind of prompted or forced to do the Sandbox program.
Yeah.
They know that children are not vaccinated just yet, most of the children per se. So the dependents or the children who are coming with the parents or the guardians can be more or less exempted from the quarantine, even though they are not fully vaccinated. Yeah, but this is something that worth mentioning, the age 12 and 18.
Yeah, see, like Dr. Thassanawut and his colleagues are like very expert in this thing. Just this morning, let me tell you, I got contacted by a patient, and patient asked me like, I'm gonna be coming to Thailand and I'm eligible for test and go because like she's like fully vaccinated. So she's gonna be staying in a hospital quarantine for only one night. But the thing is, she's gonna bring along her 15-year-old son who is only vaccinated once. I mean, only one dose now. So she asked me whether is the son also eligible for test and go or not. So I directly called Dr. Thassanawut's department and I got the answer right away. So as you can see here, right, if the children is not under 12 years old and he is not eligible for test and go, so he's sadly he will have to be in Sandbox Program. Parents can be out of quarantine after one day, but the child will have to remain in the quarantine at least in Sandbox Program, right? Because he is like 15 years old, so not in that test and go category. That's very sad. Thank you for the quick answer this morning, by the way. Okay.
This is more or less, these are the information for the children. Just want to show, if the child, as you mentioned, got first dose of the vaccine, then they can just put it over here. And the medical insurance, we talk about that a little bit later on. Yeah? The medical insurance is dropped from 100 to 50.
It used to be coverage must be $100,000, but with Thailand Pass, it's already reduced to 50,000. So I think the premium will be cheaper too, right?
Yeah, a little bit cheaper. Yeah, and for the adult, then you'll be prompted to enter the information for your vaccination. Say the first dose of the vaccine, the second dose, and over here, when you click, there'll be a drop-down menu for you to choose which vaccine have you got vaccinated, and you just put in the date, and also you put the proof of vaccination over here. If you receive more than 2 doses of vaccines, then you can just add more over here. And up top, you can see over here that it say recover from COVID within 1 year. So let's say if you have been contracted, you have been infected with COVID-19 within 1 year, please click here and then it will bring you the next page, which was initially hidden from view. And then you mention the date that you started treatment and then the date that you finished the treatment, and also the medical certificate verifying those information. This one is quite confusing in a way, but hopefully many people who contacted my department had the answer, and we are more than happy to answer the questions, but let me clarify over here a little bit. So they say up here about the Test and Go program, the Sandbox, and the alternative quarantine facility. You can choose which one that you are going to. Say if it's the SHA++ hotel.
What does SHA mean?
Yeah, it's the accreditation for the sanitary and hospitality accreditation for the hotel. Yeah, so it must be qualified for this standard. Many hotels had actually been qualified, especially during the COVID time, because this is something that they need in order to accept the clients and customers. So you can choose this one, or you can choose alternative quarantine. They didn't say here, but it's actually the hotel where they have to undergo the alternative quarantine program. Yeah, so choose carefully. If you are coming to the hospital, then you can choose alternative hospital quarantine right here, and then the province, and then accommodation name and address. And then you'll be prompted to enter the booking ID and the address and the day that you check in and out, and your emergency contact. I purposefully, intentionally snipped these 2 pages. They're actually the same page, but with different information. So you can see up here on the left, when you choose alternative hospital quarantine and you choose Bangkok as the province that you will be arriving, you can say you are coming to the hospital, Bumrungrad International Hospital, as the place that you will undergo the Test and Go program or the Sandbox program, or even the alternative hospital quarantine or in the AQ program. So I strongly recommend again for you to choose cautiously from the beginning, because over here you won't see which option you actually chose. Which option was chosen. You won't know at this point, but you must make sure that you chose the right one from the beginning. And then this is the address of the hospital. The booking ID, you just put the hospital number, your hospital number, which would have been identified or mentioned in the invitation letter that I mentioned earlier. So each of the person, either the patient or the companion, will have the hospital number, and you just put the hospital number as a booking ID. Duration of stay. This will be might be contradicting with the date or the date that you plan to stay in Thailand, because in here it would be the day that you will spend in the Test and Go or the Sandbox program. Let's say you might plan to stay in Thailand for 2 weeks. So in the beginning you would choose like the 1st of the month would be the date of arrival, and then the 14th of the month would be the date that you leave Thailand, right? But then over here you would choose the 1st as the check-in date. If you are in the Test and Go program, the date that you are out of the Test and Go facility would be the 2nd. So it's just 1 day over here. Yeah, make sure. If it's the Sandbox one, then it will be 7 days here. I see. That's all. Yeah. And down here, you'll be inserting or uploading the booking accommodation document verification for the booking of accommodation. If you are choosing the hospital as the accommodation, then again use the invitation letter that we sent you from the very beginning as the document over here. Yeah. On the other hand, if you choose the SHAR plus hotel, then if you choose the province over here, then you'll be prompted with the name list of the hotel. If you click over here, then there'll be the name list of the hotel for you to choose from, and it automatically filled in the address of the hotel for you.
I see.
In this regard, then you use the booking reference number from the hotel as the booking ID, and use the confirmation letter that you receive from the hotel as the document of booking accommodation.
Does it look confusing? I don't think it is, but but don't worry. If you are now watching from, like, let's say Myanmar, like Cambodia, Vietnam, Bangladesh, wherever you are, if your country, I think in many countries we have our representative offices, so you can contact our Bumrungrad representative offices in your country, and they will surely help you how to fill out these the forms. So it will be more correct, and it will be like faster, so don't worry, you can feel free to contact them, and they will help you out. Okay. So let's go back to, before we move on, do you want to move on?
No, please.
There are some questions, maybe they're waiting for our answer. Let me read out some questions to you. Rachel and hi, thanks for watching. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
How many days does it take to get Thailand Pass approved?
Okay, interesting. We were told, let's say we were informed that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs guarantees 7 days.
7 days.
Yeah, but in our experience, it ranges from 1 to 3 to 5 days. So it depends. If you are planning to come into Thailand as a tourist, I strongly recommend you spare at least 7 days, just to be sure that you'll get the Thailand Pass in time. Yeah. But on the other hand, if you are seeking for medical care as an urgent care, besides the part that you will contact us or our representative referral offices around the world to facilitate, then you can also apply for the alternative quarantine track. You will be more or less surely guaranteed that the approval will be very quick. Yeah, it was surreal, but actually the last time that we checked, some of them got approved within 5 minutes. We didn't even know how that was possible. But anyway, let's say if you choose to undergo the quarantine in the alternative quarantine track or category, be sure that you won't be able to come out of the room. Yeah, even though you are eligible for either the Test and Go or Sandbox program. Yeah, so as I say over and over again, choose carefully.
Yeah, but let me share the experience of a friend that came to Thailand last week. In terms of applying this Thailand Pass, he applied Thailand Pass for like 2 weeks before departure from his country,
Okay.
and it got rejected because he put like some incorrect information. I mean, not on
Okay.
purpose, by mistake, right?
By mistake, yeah.
He got an email notification saying
Sure.
that your application is rejected. Please correct this and this information. But he forgot to check his email. So just one day before traveling to
I see.
Thailand,
Then
he
he
saw the
realized,
email that
yeah.
it was rejected, and then he reapplied it. But
Okay.
within a few minutes, he got it approved with the correct information. So I think it depends on your departure, like traveling date as well, right? If the
Yeah.
traveling date is like really close, then I think they will
Probably,
give you
probably.
more priority, you know, to approve.
Yeah.
But it's kind of risky, so
Yeah,
better apply
that's
like
what I was thinking.
many days in
In
advance,
advance,
to be safe.
allow ample times
Yeah.
for the approval.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and one thing worth mentioning, if you miss the flight, yeah, because actually in Thailand Pass, then it'll specifically mention the arrival date on there. So if you accidentally miss the flight, then the Thailand Pass, as what I know, is valid for a few more days.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
3 days to be precise. So you can use the Thailand Pass for 3 more days after the arrival date that is actually mentioned in the Thailand Pass itself. But if it's more than that, then you unfortunately have to reapply.
Faisal said, very helpful discussion covering all the questions people will be having in their mind regarding all these. Okay, thank you. Thank you for your compliments, and thank you for your time. Thank you for watching us. And another question, is it possible for coming to hospital for third booster dose? I don't know how to, can you answer this question?
Interesting. It's probably more than a one-dimensional question to be answered. First of all, we are let's say providing Moderna vaccine to the general public. So let's say if it's available and then you have reserved or you have bought the Moderna vaccine doses, then you can receive it. But we cannot say for sure that by the time that you are here, will there be that Moderna vaccine that you reserve for. That's the pain. If you follow with the Thai vaccine news per se, then we are struggling to receive the already reserved Moderna vaccine from the provider.
I see. Okay. And there's another question from Ani. No, Ani, I've already answered your question. Sorry. And another question is from Moshia. Like, if the traveler is like below 18 years old and going to enter a Sandbox program, does he or she need insurance? I think everybody needs it, right?
Yes. Every person needs insurance.
Whether you are under 18 or over 18, doesn't matter. You still have to buy insurance to come here. Okay. Okay, let's go back to our talk.
So the last part of the Thailand Pass application will be the insurance thing that we just discussed. So you have to make sure that it covers at least $50,000 as opposed to 100,000 before, you know? And put the insurance policy number over here, and then the effective date, and make sure that it covers total duration of your stay in Thailand, and then upload the document up there. And it said here that if you have visited any countries within 14 days before arrival in Thailand, please say so. Ministry of Foreign Affairs wanted to know. But one thing, you'll have to be in the current country before you travel for 21 days. In order to be eligible for either the Test and Go or the Sandbox program.
By the way, let me ask you a question. When you talk about those 63 countries, you know, that are eligible for Test and Go, it doesn't, how to say it? Like, let's say you're national. It doesn't depend on the nationality, right?
Yep. Correct. Yeah, you got it correctly. So it depends solely on the country of origin, the current country that you are coming from.
Okay.
Let's say if you are a Myanmar citizen in Bangladesh,
Uh-huh.
then you'll have to undergo the Sandbox Program,
Uh-huh.
right? On the other hand, if you Bangladeshi coming from Myanmar, then you can undergo the test and
Test and
go.
go,
Yes, yes.
Okay.
It doesn't rely
On the nationality.
on the nationality of the person. It's actually the country that people are coming from.
I see. Okay, because that's the common questions
Yeah.
that people usually ask.
Yeah, and confusion.
Okay. So I think people coming to Bumrungrad at this time, we have a special promotion, right? Like we have discounted package for the check. Can you
It's
talk
like
about
a
that?
welcome back package. So we provide the welcome back packages for international patients only. 6 selected health screening packages can be found with special prices. You can buy it from now until the end of the year. You will get special discount as well as the Moderna vaccine. So you'll get 1 dose of Moderna vaccine. Yeah. By the time that you arrive, hopefully the generation 1 lot 2 of the Moderna vaccine will be available in our hospital, and by then you can get it. If just like the person who just asked, how will they be able to receive the 3rd dose if they want it? Let's say subject to availability of the vaccine.
But remember, this is Moderna, okay, mRNA vaccine, so you will get it free if you buy our checkup packages.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what else about Thailand Pass? If you have questions, you can write in our comment box and we can answer later, or you can email us, you can call our hotline. We will be happy to answer all your questions, okay? If you are interested to come to Bumrungrad, you can either contact the representative office in your country, or you can you can call Bumrungrad directly. Okay, we will be happy to assist you.
There was one thing that you mentioned in the beginning. Thailand Pass is for air travel only.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So if you are traveling from other country through the land borders, then you'll still have to go to the Royal Thai Embassy or Consulate General near you and apply for the certificate of entry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the old system remains effective that way.
Okay, so please bear in mind that this Thailand Pass is only for those who travel by air, not by land borders. So if you come to Thailand through land borders, of course you'll have to contact the Thai embassy in your country of residence and apply for COE. So that's a requirement. Okay, I think that brings us to the end of our talk today, and thanks for joining us here in Bumrungrad studio. So I hope everyone is staying safe, and then I hope everyone is already vaccinated fully, and I'm sure in the very, very near future, we all gonna come over this pandemic and everything will be back to normal very, very soon. So please stay safe, and then we will see you soon in Bangkok.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.